Explore the latest innovative Oppo smartphones and accessories and leap into the future with Oppo. It's a really cool way to talk about your technology. The question is though, if you talk the talk, can you walk the walk? Oppo has been making good progress in the last few years, and the Find X3 Pro was a really good phone with only a few minor quirks. They took all that criticism and information to further their development and recently released the Find X5 Pro, which honestly looks pretty badass and is throwing some mean looks over at the Galaxy and the iPhone. You know the drill, let the facts speak. Since we know what the Galaxy S22 Ultra and the iPhone 13 Pro Max are capable of, our eyes immediately lock onto the Find X5 Pro and its photos. First impressions? Pretty positive. The color reconstruction is really good, sharpness is not overbearing, accurate white balance as well, so overall, I'm very pleased with the footage that we have. It's been some time since the newly released device comes in and puts up a good performance against the greats, so this start is making me excited for what's to come. Of course, the respective cameras and software of each device do shine in certain cases, but you don't see one having a huge upper hand over the other, or one of them falling short and failing to produce an adequate image. This could have been the case for Samsung because even though their photos are mostly very colorful and punchy, we did have some issues with loss of detail in dark areas in our previous video, but because the weather was sunny and there was plenty of light, their photos just look really good. Honestly, I would need to be very hard-pressed to find a difference in quality between these three. In my opinion, it is completely up to the user and what they expect from a smartphone camera. Personal preference should be the way to go if you're interested in the camera efficiency of these brands, and I have no issue giving them 3 points each for being tied for first place. Go ahead and drop a like as well as a sub if you liked what you've seen so far. Thanks. So, portrait mode is where I really started to freak out. I mean, I was just recently talking about how Samsung had finally done something that allowed us to say Android phones caught up to Apple in terms of edge detection technology. This was honestly a miracle because in my experience, the only phone that kind of compared was the OnePlus 9 Pro, and that was after tens of software updates. And now, the Oppo Find X5 Pro has entered the ring and it certainly isn't holding back any punches. Even on the rare occasion there's a small error on the iPhone or the Galaxy, the Find has found a way to minimize even that and bless our eyes with this pristine technology. The tiniest detail would be the tips of my hair follicles, and while Samsung and Apple kind of smooths over them, Oppo millimetrically draws around them so that there is no blur over my head, even though this blur would be unnoticeable without cropping the photo in. I'm proud to present our new champion of the portrait mode, the Oppo Find X5 Pro. Samsung will be looking to make a comeback with software updates, while Apple will be looking towards the iPhone 14. I am a bit disappointed when it comes down to video though, because I just wanted the underdog to keep on going. Right off the bat, Oppo's color reconstruction is wrong when you check out the trees and the leaves. Samsung is gonna be the one that is closer to Apple, but not close enough, because the loss of detail and dark patches in the photos is unfortunately carried over to the video. Now, a way around this is that if the subject you're filming is close to the camera, then this isn't such a big problem. But if it's the opposite, then any subject far away from the camera on the Galaxy or the Find X5 Pro is likely to be lacking detail compared to the iPhone, especially if the subject is dark or is wearing dark clothing. Apart from the hiccup in the first video, Oppo's actually done a decent job for a newly released phone and is not too different from Samsung in this comparison. Samsung, on the other hand, is also not too different from Apple in terms of quality, but it's the small details that have time and time again pushed Apple to the top of the food chain, or in this case, the videography chain. The Galaxy will take second place with Oppo coming in third, and sad to say, this will unfortunately carry over to our new category that some of you have been wanting for a while, the front camera. Oppo just hasn't put in the effort here, and it seems like all their sweat and blood went into trying to perfect the main camera. Credit where it's due though, they did a really good job, but here, I'm just not seeing it. The Galaxy S22 Ultra's front camera is really clear and has good detail, but the iPhone 13 Pro Max can handle the sun and dynamic range a bit better. Only issue is, there were some inconsistencies with focus. Samsung software snapped onto us as soon as we got into view, but that wasn't the case for the front camera of the iPhone, which was kind of a surprise. Overall though, positives and negatives bashing heads will ensure a tie, leaving Oppo behind. Macro is definitely something that we've raised our expectations for, because after the addition of the mode to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, other devices definitely had to step their game up because what Apple did was pretty insane. With an automatic sensor causing a switch to the ultra-wide camera when you get too close to an object, the Pro versions of the iPhone have pretty much been the leaders of this movement, until Samsung dropped their Galaxy S22 Ultra to rival the iPhone's macro quality. They're pretty similar in regards to quality and how close you can get to your subject, with slight differences in sharpness as well as focus. Oppo doesn't seem to have put much effort into this mode, which is understandable to be honest, since their main camera is straight fire. But because of this, they'll have to take third place right before we get into zoom. Probably the category you're the least excited to see because you already know that Samsung is gonna roll some heads. Apple, on the other hand, has openly shown that they are content with having a 3x optical zoom, which lets you get somewhat closer to an object that you're not able to walk up on, and also allows you to play around with portrait photos. So unless Oppo has an insane zoom lens hidden up their sleeve, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, it didn't happen. In fact, the Find X5 Pro zoom is even worse than the iPhone's and starts losing a lot of detail at just 3x. Anything above 5x is just bad, so Samsung is gonna be cruising to an easy win here by being able to make a big difference with the quality of its optical zoom lens. Now that the Google Pixel 6 Pro is taking a break, we can check out stabilization on these phones without knowing the result before we do the testing. So as usual, we start off by walking, taking a lovely stroll in the park next to the river while the Find X5 Pro just shakes all over the place. Nice, huh? Do remember though that we keep the best stabilization mode off for this section because we want to see how it works when there's a lot of movement and action, and here we go. The iPhone's putting up a decent performance as usual, since it doesn't have a stabilization mode that you activate, but has one that's always on in the software. The Galaxy has gotten a huge boost with the activation of the Super Stable mode, which has been improved when compared to the last year's S21 Ultra. The Find X5 Pro is actually really good. Not Samsung's Super Stable levels of good, but still good. Samsung will finally grab a win here with the Pixel not being here to take it away from them, and Oppo will come in second. Slow motion is something we had to take a look at before shooting because there were some important differences. On Apple's side, you've got 120 and 240 FPS at 1080p. Samsung can also do 240 FPS as well as 960 FPS at 720p, while Oppo also comes in with 240 FPS as well as 480 FPS at 720p. Now, by just looking at the numbers, you'd think that the Galaxy just has the advantage here. The main issue with just looking at the numbers though is that you'll miss out on the footage, and Samsung's 960 FPS is just horrible. I've said it time and time again, I have no idea how Samsung released the S22 without doing something about this first. Also, because I think that Apple retains the highest image quality during slow motion, it will be tied with Samsung at second place, while Oppo takes the crown due to being able to balance a large number of frames per second along with the image quality. Autofocus was actually exciting for once, because finding a phone that can perform better than Apple here is just honestly next to impossible. This time, the Find X5 Pro put on a good show and was able to focus on the bottle as soon as it got into the frame, except for a couple of instances where the object wasn't lowered all the way down. The Galaxy S22 Ultra didn't show the best results this time, and it actually didn't react a couple of times, which puts it behind the Find as the iPhone takes first. Audio, testing 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. This is the audio from the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. This is the audio from the Oppo Find X5 Pro. And this is the audio from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. We're on the roof, it's a sunny day, weather's looking great, and it's the perfect time to do this audio test. Let us know which one is your favorite. The Galaxy's audio is just really good because it showcases a good balance of audio clarity and noise cancelling. While the Find's audio quality is the best to me, it just picks up everything around you, so when there are people there, you're gonna have some problems. The iPhone 13 Pro Max has lesser quality but better noise cancelling when compared to the Find X5 Pro, which will grant them a tie for second place after the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Lastly, night as usual. Taking into consideration the important things when you're shooting footage at night, such as the color of the sky, the amount of grain, as well as white balance, I can easily say that the iPhone fails at the last one because the majority of its photos have an insane amount of yellow and orange tint. Even where the Galaxy doesn't look too good, the colors of Apple are just not accurate enough. Oppo hands down has the best quality as well as the best consistency at night photos, and I'm seriously impressed with what they've done here. Night videos, however, will be quite similar to regular videos, as Apple has done it again. Clear and concise videos showing us all the details that we want to see, while Samsung is unfortunately too dark to be able to compare. Oppo is actually decent, but it also has some darkness issues which puts Apple ahead for night video. This will leave Oppo and Apple tied at night, with Samsung coming right after them. This was a fun video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Some super close results were had, and the standings are as follows. The Oppo Find X5 Pro managed to get 23 points, while the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra got 26 points. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is 1 point ahead of the Galaxy at 27 points. It's actually crazy because if Oppo had put in more effort for their slow motion, macro, and zoom, they could have actually won this. Do remember that photo, portrait, and video is probably more important than some other categories, and Oppo did really well here. Thanks for sticking it out with us, guys, and leave a like and a sub if you like this comparison. See you in the next video.